In this video, I'm going to tell you what is going to happen at one of the most anticipated Islamic conferences in the UK.
أنا الفقير إلى رب البريات أنا المسيكين في مجموع حالات.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So in 5 days, the winter conference at Greenland Masjid is going to happen. As you know, every single year, at the end of the year, Greenland Masjid organizes its yearly winter conference. So this year is going to be from the 22nd to the 25th of December. Now, the slogan of this year's conference is where the knowledge is. So I wanted to take this opportunity to show you the books that are going to be explained during those conferences. And as I mentioned, a little bit about the authors as well and what Islamic sciences they're going to be about. The first book that I want to tell you about is this one. And it's called رسالة لطيفة جامعة في أصول الفقه المهمة. A gentle, comprehensive letter about the most important foundations of Islamic jurisprudence. And as the name says, is about Usool al-Fiqh, the foundations of Islamic jurisprudence, the foundations of fiqh. Now, Usool al-Fiqh is actually my favorite science. And the scholars, they say that this science is going to help you understand the rulings of the Quran and the Sunnah. It's going to help you understand what the Quran and the Sunnah says. How do you know, or how do the scholars extract rulings from the Quran and the Sunnah? Why is this halal and why is this haram? What do they base these rulings on? This is what Usul al-Fiqh is going to help you. And subhanAllah, Usul al-Fiqh does not just apply to jurisprudence only. Some of the principles that are in Usul al-Fiqh are applied even in Aqil sometimes. Now, this book is written by none other than Al-Allama Abdurrahman ibn Nasir al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala. And Shaykh Abdurrahman al-Sa'di rahimahullah is a master in this particular science. He has other works about Usul al-Fiqh and Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya and so on and so forth. But as I mentioned, he is a master in this particular field of Islamic science. And he is also the teacher of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah, well known also. And he's from the country of Saudi Arabia, nowadays Saudi Arabia. And very beneficial. He has other works, especially in tafsir of the Quran as well, a very simple tafsir. So that's a little bit about him, rahimahullah ta'ala, rahmatan wasi'ah. The second book is this one. And it's called Al-Risalat al-Hamawiyyah al-Kubra, the great or the big letter of Al-Hamawiyyah. Rough translation again. And this is essentially a book on Aqidah. And is written by none other than Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala. And this particular work, like some other works of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, are actually written because of some request. Questions, a request. Okay? So, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, as many other scholars, and this is something that is very important, they don't write books just for the sake of writing books. They write books when there's a need for it, when it's necessary, when there is something that came up, not just to write book just for the fun of it. Okay? Now, Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, as you know, he was the master of his time. And subhanAllah, it is said about him that when he would speak about a science, a particular Islamic science, you would think that that's the only thing that he knew. Now, so another thing that is said about him is that every time he would debate with someone, he would know the person's position even better than the person himself. So, again, great scholar of Islam. I don't think there's any Muslim that haven't heard of him. Whether you agree with him, whether you don't agree with him, Ibn Taymiyyah has earned the respect of the whole Muslim Ummah. Right? So this book is going to be taught in Arabic only at the conference. This is the only work that's going to be taught in Arabic only. Now, last time I checked on the website, there was only about 50 spaces left because it's going to be in Arabic only. So it's going to be actually the first time that Greenland has a complete session going through a complete book in the Arabic language only. Again, for people who know the Arabic language. And that shows you the importance of actually learning Arabic. If you didn't learn Arabic, if you never learned Arabic before, you only rely on translations, then you can't attend this class and you're not really going to benefit from it. Now, this particular copy is actually a ta'liq, is annotations from Shaykh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala. And subhanAllah, I had to check the internet, to be honest, to find this in the UK. And for those who know, those who have books and they're into books and things like that, there's a website which is known as Safinatun Najah. SubhanAllah, as soon as I saw that, I could get the book, I had to call the brother that owns the website. I had to go to him late at night just to get a copy. Last time he told me he has about 15 more copies. So I'm going to add the link of the actual website and for the book as well, inshallah. And hopefully you can contact him. And perhaps, if you want a copy, mention in the comments and I'll see, I'll do my best to find you a copy as well, inshallah, if it's not finished. Because as I said, he only had 15 copies last time I checked. So that's about the second book. And we're going to move to the third one. Now the third book is this one. And it's called فصول الآداب ومكارم الأخلاق المشروعة. And it was written by the great scholar of the Hanbali madhab, Ibn Aqil, rahimahullah ta'ala. So the name says Ibn Aqil's Hanbali essay on Islamic manners. So this book is about adab. And as you know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the hadith, إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. I was only sent to perfect and complete noble and good characters. Okay, so the place of Islamic manners is very important in our religion. Now, as I mentioned, this was written by the Hanbali scholar Ibn Aqil rahimahullah ta'ala, like Risalatul Latifa and also Al-Hamawiyyah. They were both written by Hanbali scholar. Shaykh Sadi was Hanbali and Shaykh Taymiyyah also was Hanbali as well. So this is the third book that is written by another Hanbali scholar, and as I mentioned, it's about adab. Now, a little bit about Ibn Aqil rahimahullah ta'ala. He was considered, one of the most intelligent people of his times. And this is a very nice book. This is actually a translation from a publishing house called Dar Makkah. They're actually based here in Birmingham, alhamdulillah. So they have it on their website, and you should, hurry up and grab yours as well, inshallah. So this particular edition has, the Arabic part of it and also the English. Alhamdulillah, in the class you can check the Arabic and also follow through the English if you need to. But yeah, the print is very nice, mashallah. And as always, Dar Arqam, they've done a very, very good job in, translating it or publishing it rather, and also, putting it in this format. Allahumma barik. So it's a very nice, very simple book about adab of Islam, eating, sitting down, drinking, sleeping, and on and on and on. Alhamdulillah. Now, that's for the third book. And yeah, so you check the website and also get your copy, inshallah azza wa jal. Now the last book is this one. And it's called Al-Arba'un fi Dalail al-Tawheed. I haven't found a physical copy for this one yet. But hopefully, inshallah, by the time the conference comes, hopefully I'm going to try I'm going to see if I can find one. Bi-idhnillah azza wa jal. But as for right now, I haven't found a copy. Now it's called Al-Arba'un fi Dalail al-Tawheed, 40 in the Proofs of Tawheed. And it was written by none other than the scholar Abu Ismail al-Harawi al-Ansari rahimahullah ta'ala. Now this particular work is very, very interesting because there's two things. Al-Arba'un, usually when you hear the 40, you think about 40 hadiths of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah. Now this particular book, although he says 40, it's not 40 ahadith. It's 40 isnad, 40 different chains of narrations that are mentioned in the book. So the number of ahadith is lesser than that. The difference between this and the 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, for example, is that al-Nawawi, in his book, he brings references of where he took the hadith from. So you see Abu Dawood, al-Bukhari, and so on and so forth, Muslim. He will mention the actual source of the hadith that he brings in his 40 hadith. Now this one, on the other hand, Al-Harawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he brings his own isnad to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the very deep thing about this. And this is how many of the Salaf, the predecessors, they will write books as well. They would mention the isnad and that will suffice. They've given you the isnad, you can go and check, you can go and see if the hadith is authentic, da'if, hasan, and so on and so forth. So this is very interesting. And that means that this book therefore can also be a book of reference. Al-Harawi rahimahullah, he will tell you his isnad. You go and check, and you can be, and this book will be basically considered, as I mentioned, a book of reference. So you're going to say that Al-Harawi mentions that in his book. Another very nice thing about this book is that it is not a book of ahadith, generally speaking. The ahadith that are mentioned in the book are very much specific about Tawheed. Not every single type of Tawheed, specifically Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, the Tawheed of the names and the attributes of Allah Baraka wa Ta'ala. And Al-Harawi rahimahullah ta'ala, again, a very major, well-known scholar of Islam, he's actually the one that made the famous statement, أنا حنبلي ما حييت وإن أمت ونصيحتي للناس أن يتحنبلوا. Al-Harawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he said these lines, which translates to, I am Hanbali as long as I will be alive, and even after my death. And my advice to the people is that they become Hanbalis. Now, I don't know if Green Lane did it on purpose, but as I mentioned, the 3 previous works were written by a Hanbali scholar, and this is also a Hanbali scholar. So 4 Hanbalis this year. As I said, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but it seems like today, we are taken over by the Hanbalis. I'm not Hanbali myself, but ala kulli hal, it's always nice to study the works of the scholars anyway. So, this statement of Al-Harawi rahimahullah ta'ala is very famous. I remember the first time I heard it was in my Arabic class, maybe almost 10 years ago, subhanAllah, and now being able or having the opportunity to study this book is going to be a very nice thing, alhamdulillah. So Al-Harawi rahimahullah ta'ala wrote this book, and as I mentioned earlier, is about Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, and also the Isnad and all the other things that I mentioned. So yeah, so there you have the 4 books that are going to be studied and explained during this year's winter conference. And wallahi, I would highly recommend anyone who can attend not to miss this opportunity. However busy you are, try to come for at least a few sessions, if not the whole conference. It's always nice to see new brothers at the conference. You meet new people, wallahi, you make new friends, people's numbers and things like that. People that I personally have stayed in contact with them for years now, and we only met at the conference. Alhamdulillah, you have people that come from different countries also, Germany, France, Belgium. We have brothers coming from the USA also. Alhamdulillah, may Allah Azza wa Jalla reward Brilliant Masjid for organizing this, and subhanallah, is perhaps one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent conference of the UK or in the UK. They've been doing it for years now, and alhamdulillah, they gave us the opportunity to study with scholars. Many of us are not going to be accepted at the Islamic University of Medina or the universities, or don't have the ability to actually go and study abroad in Egypt and so on and so forth. But having scholars come to you, well, in fact, the way of the people of Hadith, the way of the people of knowledge, the way of students of knowledge was to travel to the scholars. Now you have scholars coming to you. You don't have any excuse not to attend. Bring your families, bring your friends, tell everyone, share inshallah, hopefully inshallah this video as well, and you can inshallah be part of the reward as well. And I see you at the conference. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.